What's up all you Batman loving dudes and dudettes, Toyshiz here, and I'm back yet again with another news video, and we finally got our first official looks at the brand new McFarlane Toys DC Multiverse action figures. They sent out the press release late last night, 12 midnight, and I am so stoked to finally be able to talk about these. They're all going to be in that 7-inch scale. Most will boast 22 points of articulation, and each figure will come with a collectible card, character-specific art, biography, multiple accessories as pertaining to that figure, and the prices are going to be between 20 and 25 bucks, just depending, and there's actually a Build-A-Figure slash, we'll say, Bathmobile. Shout out to Crackers O'Toole on Instagram for putting that into the universe. I love that. But McFarlane Toys has kept the DC Multiverse action figure lineup and images top secret. Kind of, sort of. But this is going to be fun. We're going to take a look at all the figures revealed. I'm so stoked. There's so many that I'm just like, that's what I wanted to see from McFarlane Toys. After doing Spawn for so long, that's who I wanted to see. So sit back, relax, grab a cup of coffee. This is the brand new reveals of McFarlane Toys 2020 DC Multiverse. Before we start, I want to give a shout out to my good friends over at Kastors Korner. They were the ones that let me know, hey, it's out, the press release is out, blah, blah, blah. So thank you to them wholeheartedly. I very much appreciate that. Please go and check them out on Instagram. Check out their Kastors Korner podcast. They're great. They're fantastic. Great source for news. Please go and check them out. But let's get into what you all came here to do, is to see some new DC Multiverse, and to start it off with Superman Action Comics number 1000. And much like I always do, if you want to pre-order any of these figures, there'll be links in the description below. But yes, Superman 7-inch scale, 22 points of articulation, and based off that new Superman suit. He doesn't have that S on the back of his cape, but he's pretty much spot on to the more classic yet classic modern type suit Superman that we are getting in comics now. And I absolutely love the new multiverse packaging, and I do like that they kept the name. I think that it helps you kind of gravitate into a new era of DC Multiverse. Yes, it would have been nice to keep it at the 6-inch mark, but companies are usually not going to do that. If you're starting over, which we are essentially doing, you're going to want to go and make it your own. So yeah, they won't scale with the past multiverse, but then of course the art style, the design, everything will be off in conjecture with what has come before. And for that reason alone, I do welcome these new figures, and this Superman does look great. He comes with a flight stand. This is a great way to start off a brand new toy line, quote unquote. Of course, keeping in the DC Multiverse fashion, we're going to be also heading into the Bruce Timm / Paul Dini animated universe with the Batman the Animated Series Bruce Timm design. And I would say this is a very early Bruce Timm design. It's a little bit different from what we're kind of getting with DC Collectibles. It's a bit of a mashup between BTAS and TNBA, and I like that. It's a very different looking Batman, and if you look at the original concept art for Batman the Animated Series, you can kind of sort of see this figure in its bulkiness and its shoulders, and he was kind of slimmed down and made to look like what we actually got in Batman the Animated Series. But I do think he looks good. The emblem on the chest may be a tad bit big for those, but like I said, it's a nice flip to what we're usually getting. It's a different sort of looking Batman the Animated Series, and it's very much now a McFarlane figure. And in keeping with that animated style, we're also going to be going towards the Justice League Unlimited cartoon. Of course, the sequel series to Justice League with John Stewart's Green Lantern. Hawkgirl's left the team. He's decided to shave his head and grow a goatee. You know, you gotta change it up when your chick leaves you. But he comes with this really cool construct. Now, this Green Lantern didn't have very many constructs in the actual show. He chose more to do light beams and things like that. But he did a construct, I think, on the very last episode. He did a little catapult. But it's nice to see. I think in terms of, you know, let's say not exactly a show-accurate sort of deal, I like the way this Green Lantern looks. The shoulders look a little bit bulky, we'll just say. I'm wondering if it's more of a ball joint. You can kind of hook the green back into his costume, just depending on the articulation. But otherwise, I think that's a great Justice League figure character to start off with. I very much am a big fan of John Stewart. I think he looks great. So hopefully the figures are as good looking in hand as they are in these photos. To wrap up the animated shows, we're also going to be going to Superman the Animated Series, one of my personal favorites of the Bruce Timm world. He comes with a crushed girder this time around, not crushed pipe like the Marvel Legends Hulk. we got crushed girder, and I think for the most part this figure looks okay. I'm a big fan of the Batman and the Green Lantern, Superman. I have to see this guy in hand. He does look maybe a little bit, tad bit off just in terms of the bulkiness of the shoulders. It's that really stylized animated look. You know, sometimes it looks good on paper, but it may not translate perfectly to a 3D action figure. Of course, I'm going to be buying it. I'm a big fan of all those shows anyways, but you know, it's just something to kind of consider, but I do think he looks good. He comes with that girder, extra hands. I'm very excited about this Superman. Now, I usually do a lot of Who in the Holy Heck videos for Marvel Legends, but it looks like I'm going to start doing it for DC Multiverse. This is their brand new Hellbat suit Batman, and I know that this comes from the Batman and Robin comic book, and it has to do with Batman going to Apocalypse. I don't know much more than that, but I will tell you that this figure is 9 inches tall and 14 inches wide in its wingspan. It's massive. It's bulky. I love the colors on this guy. This is what I wanted to see from McFarlane Toys. I want to see these more monstrous Spawn, you know, more of those just weird looking designs McFarlane capitalizes on. So this is a very much a must-have for me. He looks great. I definitely will be picking him up. I love the armorized, the red. It looks kind of like a Batman Beyond version as well. And then you also have another suit of armor for Superman. This is the Superman Unchained. And this is another one that I'm not too familiar with. It's from the DC Comics Superman Unchained series. I'll have to do some research to him, but I can appreciate a well-designed, well-sculpted, massive figure, 9 inches in height, 10 inches in its width. I like this guy. He reminds me of Superman the Animated Series when he got taken over by Darkseid and he kind of took over Earth for a little bit and things. So that's very cool, very reminiscent of that. Like I said, I'll have to do more research in him, but he looks fantastic. I love the way this thing looks. Next one up is, of course, a classic costume, Harley Quinn, and of course, she's actually based on the DC Rebirth stylized version of her. At first, I'll admit, I thought this was more of the Batman the Animated Series look, and I think the face sculpt is good. It's a little bit solemn. It's there, but it's I think she would have benefited maybe more from an extra head portrait or two. Something like that, but she comes with a mallet, a gun, classic Harley Quinn type weaponry. Of course, she always has to come with a mallet, but that doesn't say that she doesn't look good. The head sculpt to me is just a little bit, it's good. It's just not, but I love that they went with the classic costume. This is Harley Quinn to me, not Birds of Prey, not what they did with the pigtails, nothing like that. Classic Harley is always the way to go. If you are a fan of the CW TV shows, you're going to like this new Oliver Queen from the Arrow show, and I know McFarlane has plans to also do more CW type, also DC movies. We have the Batman, we have Harley Quinn and the Fantabulous, blah, blah, blah. But yeah, this new Oliver looks pretty good. I'm not a fan of the show, so I think out of all these figures, this is the one where I'm kind of like, nah, you know what I mean? And I'm glad that they don't actually come with Build-A-Figures for these particular type of figures. We'll get to that in just a second. But he is looking good. He looks sculpted well and everything. The paint looks good. I'm not a fan of the TV show, so I'm not a fan of this figure, but I can't disparage a good-looking figure. Next up is the Batman from the new Detective Comics number 1000, essentially a rebirth Batman, and this is the most classic looking of the Batman figures that we're getting so far from McFarlane. And something that's actually pretty cool is that in true McFarlane fashion, there will be a variant version with a different bat symbol. We don't have the photos just yet, but be on the lookout for a variant of this particular costume. So I'm hoping maybe like the oval, you know, or something like that, yellow oval with the Batman insignia in there. That would be really, really cool. I had hoped more for cloth capes, but NECA Toys did an amazing Batman, amazing Superman figure this past SCCC and of course New York Comic Con. So he looks good. I would prefer a cloth cape. Little bit iffy. I want to see how that upper diaphragm looks, but for the most part, he looks to display well, and I do like the articulation and the accessories he comes with. Now, if you are interested in more of the vehicular type elements for McFarlane Toys, then look no further than the Bat-Raptor. This is designed to fit mostly all of the new 7-inch scale DC Multiverse figures. It's 8 inches in width, has a telescoping front end to extend the vehicle to a full 12 inches in length, features rolling wheels. Looks to be based on the Batman Who Laughs comic book. I think it looks cool. It's a different design. It very much looks like a Kenner sort of deal, so a lot of little nostalgic feels for it, but I'm excited to check this one out most definitely. Now to switch it up a bit, the next 3 figures are all part of a mini 3-figure wave. They're all singles, so you can buy which ones you want. But in starting it off, we have the Art of the Crime Batgirl figure. She's going to be figure number 1 in this 3-figure ensemble to create a Batmobile, a Build-A-Figure Batmobile, basically, or Collect and Connect, how it was. But she does look good straight out of the comic. Different little motif for Batgirl for me. I'll have to really look into this costume, but I dig it. It's different. I like the different kind of packaging. You get to kind of see the wider box, the Batmobile on the side. The Batmobile is okay to me. It's basically like a 7-inch Batmobile that you build, but all of these figures are more considered deluxe, and they will be at the $25 price point. But the second figure in the wave is, of course, a new Rebirth Dick Grayson Nightwing, and again, he looks good. They've pretty much nailed the costume. I think he looks nice. I like the head sculpt, the head portrait to him. The balls are a little bit more noticeable. The joints are a little bit more noticeable on this figure, but again, he comes with another piece for this Batmobile and his Eskrima sticks. But in looking at the figure full on, I think it looks pretty good. I'll have to wait to kind of see this guy in hand, but I think fans of Nightwing, Dick Grayson, especially all those fanboys and fangirls, are going to be stoked. And of course, coming with those accessories, he always comes with those sticks. Give him some batarangs. But I think this is the main one. This is the one that I was desperately hoping that McFarlane was going to do. The Batman Who Laughs. Not a huge DC Comics fan these days. It's very confusing to me with New 52 and Rebirth and whatever else they're doing, Watchmen, Dr. Manhattan, yada yada, but the one character that I have been keeping up with is the Batman Who Laughs. I love the way this figure looks. This is my must-have. I'm so excited to finally have a figure based on this crazy character. Go and look at Rob with Comics Explained. He'll take you through it. That's how I get the majority of my new DC Comics knowledge. It's, like I said, it's just very confusing, but I am so stoked to have a figure based on this guy, and what better company than McFarlane Toys to make someone like this so dark and grisly. You couldn't have asked for a better figure. So that is going to do it for my new look at all of the new McFarlane Toys DC Multiverse figures. And yes, they are supposed to be coming out this January. Lo and behold, they came out very early, just before Toy Fair. So from now until about February, you should start seeing these at Targets, Walmarts, on Amazon, the GameStops, Walgreens. They're all going to have them. They nailed it. They're getting them in every single store. Again, links in the description below. If you don't see them right away, it's because maybe they haven't gone live just yet, but look below if you want to go ahead and pre-order these. These should be up anytime now, but I am so curious to know what you guys think about these new figures, from the paint to the sculpts to the weapons, the accessories, the character choices. I think that this is the way to go. I didn't want to get Batman, Superman, Aquaman, Joker, Harley Quinn, the same deal. I wanted some weird ones. I wanted this Hellbat and things that I didn't even know what they could do, but I am so stoked to see what they can do in the future, especially with the new movies, the CW, the comic books. They're drawn from every single element of DC Comics. I'm going to leave you guys with that. As always, drink some great coffee, eat some great food, but most importantly, remember, yes, the Spawn versus Batman comic wasn't that great, but dang, that would make for an awesome SDCC set, right? And when you do, let me know what you found. I'll talk to you guys soon. Adios.